Here. What's up, chat? Happy Tuesday. Let's turn it up. I guess we'll turn it down to turn it up. It's a little weird. I love this part, though. Hold on. Chat, 1 second, chat. That's such a good part. I love that. That's my favorite part. It's like, is the song over? Nope, we're back. Happy Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. Hopefully you guys made it out alive last night. What was it that got everybody? I saw people, I guess Boogie was a letdown. Devin Booker ended up being the right move. You guys were opposite me on that one. That was the way to be. I was higher on Levine and Oladipo, but Booker absolutely for cheaper, 50-plus fantasy points. Fred VanVleet, 54 fantasy points. LaMelo got there. I had him quite a bit on FanDuel, and Zach LaVine 50, right? Like I was happy with the 50. That's what I was expecting. But obviously, you would take 50 more points for less money on Devin Booker. Oladipo kind of a letdown. That game kind of got lopsided at the end there, and it just kind of shook things up. So, the beast of the night, LeBron James without Anthony Davis. Against OKC, 43 minutes, triple-double. Porzingis had almost 40 fantasy points in the first effing quarter. He went bananas. Middleton, 63 bomb. Jokic was fine, but 11K, you needed this bare bones, like 60, right? Dejounte Murray, I said on the stream, I think Dejounte Murray triple-doubles tonight. He didn't triple-double, but he almost did it with steals. 8 steals. How dumb is that? Wild, just wild from him. J-Val with the 60 bomb revenge game. There was a lot of weird stuff up here. Malik Beasley with 57. D'Angelo Russell got hurt in that game, didn't come back. So the usage for Beasley skyrocketed, almost doubled with rebounds, 30 real points. SGA against the Lakers wouldn't have landed there. He almost triple-doubled. So, man, it was definitely a good night to be contrarian. Because the massive chalk like DeMarcus Cousins and a lot of the Houston value guys were not what you want. Even Sterling, I guess Sterling Brown was fine, but a lot of people land on House. Boogie 27 at 7K on DraftKings, really just not what you want. And who was? Oh, and some of Chicago, Denzel Valentine and Patrick Williams, guys like that, 21. It was just not inspiring, and really doesn't help you in tournaments with a low-hanging ceiling like that. I do want to say that Raul Neto, on a minutes restriction that came out, ended up reaching 22% owned in my single entries on DraftKings, and he might have even been higher in some of the lower dollar stuff. He played 17 minutes, was 13 and a quarter. Guys, stop playing Raul Neto. Just don't. He had one game, literally one game, DKP by game log without Russell Westbrook. Let's go last 6 games. One game where he dropped 40. And everyone since has just been, Raul Neto could drop 40. That's not who Raul Neto is. He hasn't, if you've been watching basketball the last couple of years, Neto's not a ceiling guy. He just got really, really bonkers in that game against the Magic. And then not only is he not that guy, but he wouldn't be that guy in 20 or less minutes. Stop playing him. But then again, if you that's only for people watching. People that don't watch, keep playing Raul Neto because it only makes cashing easier. Raul Neto. That's incredible. It's incredible. Anyway, we're live on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube chat. How are we doing? Hope you guys are doing great. Quan, my bad if so I scheduled a stream at 3:30. I wasn't even paying attention. I think I meant to do 3:30, and then I was just sitting here doing work, and I wasn't even paying attention. I was like, oh snap, it's almost 3. It's almost 2 my time. That's when we go live. So I actually kind of went live 30 minutes early, but we're vibing. We'll take it slow. What's up, Crispy? Who is tonight's LeBron? There's a couple options. We got Vooch. I think it's Vooch. Earth to Air. What up, Earth to Air? What up, Darren Van Jones? Vooch Lock of the Year. Yep. Shout out to The Weeknd. He held it down at the halftime show. Yes. Pete says, stop. I stayed at the Porzingis slot machine and it paid off. Yeah, Porzingis was massive. I was definitely very privy to Porzingis. A lot of his recent games where he kind of like fell flat was some blowouts and stuff like that. But man, Minnesota is the matchup like you want. Luka was not though. I guess his greatness came at the expense of Luka. Murray was a great play. I played him for his rebound upside, not 8 steals. Yeah, Dejounte Murray, nuts, right? What up, Darn? Shooting my shot all 2021, like how Draymond finished. Bro, I don't know. I didn't like look for post-game clips or anything. What the F was Draymond thinking? Did he think it was 0.5 seconds on the clock? My man heaved that. He literally, I know we say this, that literally looked like the Carlton Banks shot from Fresh Prince. Like, he just heaved it up, and it didn't even come close. And the game still had 5 seconds left. Like, what were you doing? Oh, man, Trayvon. I catched with Neto. He was just a salary. No. Like, I get it. It was for value, bare bones min. But, like, if you're trying to win a tournament, like, Neto is not really the guy that's going to inspire greatness. I don't know. What's up, guys? How we doing? What should we do, chat? Should we jump straight into it? I think it's just gonna be me. We got plenty of time. I guess we'll I don't want to call people out here. So I did see. I've seen a rising levels of frustration, and I'm thinking maybe I should save this for tomorrow's stream. For some players that are fantasy sports players, they're getting a little frustrated with the variance in day-to-day outcomes in terms of players that should thrive, don't thrive, value plays, blah, 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 blah. So I think I do want to, I've been wanting to do a video, some smaller video content on the channel, but it's so hard to find time to pre-record stuff. So I was thinking about maybe sometimes coming up with a concept for a video and then just shooting it live, and then I'd just go back and cut it and then upload it. But but that's kind of been on my mind lately. I hate seeing people get discouraged. So I guess maybe tomorrow. I have a meeting with the fantasy site tomorrow. Maybe after, maybe Friday. I don't know. We'll try and get something up. I definitely, if you guys are just frustrated with the people getting scratched, the COVID stuff, the value plays not working, I'll try and come up with a video that can help you still play DFS but change it up a little bit. So just know that's on my heart. I'm gonna try and fix that. Carlton shot was closer. What NBA picks you like for today? Pick wise, I tell you what, let's do that. You guys want to look at some sports book stuff? Anybody here play sports books on DraftKings or FanDuel? I'm actually ineligible where I'm at here in Texas. However, there are some alternatives for me, and I will be talking a lot about those hopefully in the coming days. But let's go look at Vegas totals and stuff like that. Just kind of get a jump on stuff. So the Nets without KD, 6.5 point favorites. I don't know that I'd be touching that. What are we looking at here? Rockets on a back-to-back. They haven't looked especially great when they're not full strength. You got Boogie on a back-to-back as well. They're +6. I probably like the Pelicans here, right? If the Hornets can cover that, maybe the Pelicans are in a great spot. I don't want to touch that game. Sixers 5.5 on the road at Sacramento. I'd probably just be looking to prop bet a couple of these. Boston and Utah is a yuck fest. 220 is the total for Boston and Utah. Let me check out. That's one that I might be interested in under. So I'm going to go look at the pace. Utah and Boston, bottom 10 in pace. defensive rating, Utah is number 3. Boston is above league average. So for 220, I might take the under at 220 if that's where we're at. Yeah, I'd probably take the under on 220. And then we'll look at some player props, huh, chat? Points. So one of the tabs in the spreadsheet, if you guys are in the VIP and didn't realize it, we did add a player props tab, and this is going to show projections for points, rebounds, assists, PRA, and 3-point made. And all of these bets are stuff you could find here on any sports book, but specifically DraftKings. So I like to find some bets that maybe have a 2-point difference versus my projections, whether it be points, whether it be PRA, block steal, stuff like that. And we do a lot of prop discussion before a lock in the RunDFS.com voice chat. So I guess 3-pointers is one of them. So I'd go to here and I'd go check out 3-point made. Who's at the top of the list for me? I got Curry at 5, Dame at 4, Buddy Hield at 4. And then, yeah, so I'm sure that there's going to be juice on these 3. But a lot of times you can find over 2.5 for everybody. And then you could just parlay these together, right? So I have, what did we say? Curry was one of them. Well, Curry will probably, they'll probably put you at 3.5 on Steph. 4.5. Okay, see, there's a lot of juice on that. But some of these lower 2.5 guys, I like to just handcuff them together, find 2 or 3 that I can put at 3 or more. Do you have any content on tiers? So that's actually going to be something that I'm going to allude to in this Don't Quit video. Tiers is absolutely something that I would recommend some of you guys take a look at. If you guys are unfamiliar with tiers, it's in the DraftKings lobby. I do have a strategy video up on this channel, but it was for members only. I might repackage it and just let it go to the public. But for those of you guys that didn't realize, if you go to DraftKings main lobby and you click tiers, there's a contest here that will help you control the slate a little bit more, or a contest type that helps you control the slate even more. Meaning you don't have to worry about these crazy value plays that drop 50 or something like that. What they do is they select a group of players and they'll put them in different categories. Sometimes, you know, it could be four categories, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, but whatever it is, you can control your research a little bit more. So, for instance, in this tier 1, we have Harden versus Embiid versus Curry versus Lillard. This is extremely tough, right? But your job is to choose who scores the most DraftKings points out of this tier, and then so on and so forth. And a lot of times these tiers are selected the night before, or the player roster are selected the night before. And a lot of times you get a couple guys are just straight up out, so it becomes a little bit easier. What I like to do is I like to find a couple tiers where I can lock one guy in. And if I'm looking here, I think this one's really tough. Like, I think today's is really competitive, but I like to find a couple of tiers where I can lock one guy in, maybe 2 guys, and then other tiers I would script around what I do like. So looking at this last tier, maybe Draymond or Boogie kind of give me the highest floor on this tier 5. I'm probably half them. Dejounte Murray after last night in tier 6, I'd probably be looking at him. So I probably locked that in. So here's an example. Evan Fournier's not even going to play today, so you don't have. That's one less name to research. So I'd probably put Dejounte at 6, and coin flip Draymond and Boogie. Probably end up with Draymond. Like him a little bit more if Pascal's out, but man, something's in his water ever since Wiseman and Pascal went down. Deep minutes in back-to-back games. It's looking very vintage Draymond-y. So tier 5, tier 6, I'd start with these 2, and I would just lock them. I would accept whatever they do, and the rest of the tiers I can build around, mix, match, script around, and that would help me feel like I'm getting closer to the nut. So I definitely have a whole video on this. I'll probably repackage it, publicize it. But for some of you that have definitely felt discouraged lately, branch out a little bit. I'll have a video kind of talking about where you could play, what you could play, because I know you don't want to give up fantasy. You just don't, but it can be a lot. Big slates every day could be a lot. I'm playing 9 lineups in the Super Draft tonight. I have Lillard in all 9 lineups, 1.15x. I had Super Draft projections last year. It wouldn't take much for me to add them back to the spreadsheet this year if the Vipers want. What up, Sway? Let me see. I'm gonna tag Raj just to see you off today. Do I like Harden over 53? Says Rich. Over 53. Over 53 what? I guess he means fantasy points. Anyway. I don't want to get on a soapbox there, but there's a whole lot that I want to discuss. There's a whole lot I want to kind of shake up because we all love fantasy sports. I don't want to see people quit. I want to see you guys find ways to thrive and get better. So don't quit on me if you're one of those. But a lot of you guys are succeeding as well, and we like that too. You're doing FanDuel single game? Yes, Meeks. That'll be on there too. So the FanDuel single game is even easier than the showdown stuff in terms of lineup construction and just putting stuff together because you're not really it's the same salary, right? In showdowns, if you put somebody in the captain's spot, it multiplies that salary, but on single game on FanDuel it doesn't. And my girlfriend finished like third in like her first single game. It's very simple. Me personally, no, just playing on Super Draft. All right, Raj skipping, so he wanted to say De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Welcome. I'm looking at the live. So Rich asked me if I like James Harden over 53 FanDuel points. So I would go to fantasy points. I got James Harden at 53.7. So yeah, I guess the answer is yes. Yeah. Thank you, Rich. All right, let's go pull up Fantasy Labs. Shout out to everyone that's hanging with me live today. Fantasy Labs every day at 3 p.m. They drop a tweet letting us know what we need to keep an eye on going forward. Key news to watch. Jaylen Brown's questionable. Kyrie Irving's probable. DeLon Wright questionable. Wayne Ellington questionable. Josh Hart questionable. And Derrick Rose, Dennis Smith Jr. to be determined. Derrick Rose could be interesting because Tom Thibodeau, he might just throw Rose into the fire and see what happens. I wonder if before long his intentions are to bench Elf and start Rose and then have Emmanuel quickly in the mix as well. Several different ways that can go, but I do think it would be somewhat significant for projection purposes if Rose were to be in and out. So I would like that. Anything else that came out today? We know Devontae, the homie's out for tomorrow. Ntilikina's out. Lonnie Walker's in. DeAndre Hunter's out. I think we saw that Derek White is out. I think his plan was to play last night, take tonight off. Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's where we stand on ins and outs. Nothing unexpected as of now. The big news for the first game would be KD. One more sweep of chat, and I guess we'll dive head first. Mark says, I really love playing on DraftKings. So fun finding value to pay up for the stars. I definitely like it too, but I can see how the working man on a 10-game slate doesn't know that they should be playing, I don't know, Isaiah Hartenstein. You know what I'm saying? Like some random backup, or that somebody that feels like they can't miss, like Denzel Valentine falls through. And it's just, I want to help people consolidate the slate more because I love DFS. Like I have time to do that, but I understand the frustration. I empathize with those who can. I've seen a couple of stuff on Twitter and on YouTube lately where people are fed up, and I want to do what I can do to help those people because it's worth for me. I love DFS, so I don't know. I'm just trying to help out. What up, solid picks? The Bulls, Valentine and Williams. Oh, exactly. Patty Williams wasn't what you want. What's up, Solo? Gun, did you play me and Raj played Devin Booker. I had Devin Booker. I was never anti-Devin Booker. What the debate yesterday was whether or not I would get to Booker at tier 1 or really anyone. He wasn't a tier 1 for me. He was a tier 3. So I had enough exposure to Devin Booker. But obviously, I at the end of the day, he was the better play over not only Zach LaVine but Victor Oladipo. And me personally, I had more Depot and Zach LaVine, which I wasn't upset with what Depot and LaVine got me. But Booker was just a better play, way better play. Guns, how'd you feel about handcuffing Mason Plumlee and DeLon Wright if he plays? I think nobody's off limits in this Pistons game at all. Lock me in on Murray with Aldridge and Whiteout. Yes, sir. What's up, Mopar? What's up, Gun? Sorry I'm late. Forgot to set my alarm. No, it's actually fine. We didn't get started, and I kind of slow-rolled the intro for this one because I accidentally scheduled it for 3:30. And plus, it's a short slate. It is what it is. I do like hanging out a little bit. I got to get the on-off court tool up. Chat, nobody look at these projections because they're premium. Wait, no, I did it again. On-off court. My bad, Fantasy Labs. Hold up. Okay, now you can look. I like Price Picks. Yes, Jelani. I can't say too much, Jelani. But tomorrow, I might be able to say more. Pinstripe Pimp, what's up, buddy? How we doing? He was a tier 1. Yeah, no, if you had Devin Booker tier 1, like, absolutely great. What's up, Giuliano? How we doing? What up, Marcellus Larkin? Any cheap point guard on the Pistons on DK? So cheap? I mean, Josh Jackson. If Dennis Smith Jr. doesn't play, I guess I don't even know. I don't know what you consider cheap, but $6K or less. Yeah, both of them. Hit 382. Let's go, baby. What up, Ryan? Chance, the only active point guard for Detroit, is Saban Lee. So, the only active point guard? What? Wait, is there like some stuff out? I don't. Help me out, Ryan. What does that mean? Is there some scandal? Is there some health protocol stuff dropping right now? Without Porzingis, dang, should have played. Yeah, Porzingis was nutty. W. Jeremy says Grant Plumlee or Keldon and Cousins. I probably go Grant Plumlee, just because I'll be very interested in this game. Anyway, peek over at Raj. I guess Raj is out of there. All right, so we'll get it going. Right, DeLon Wright, Frank Jackson, all questionable. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I think they'll play, but let's pull it up. Chat, let's jump into this 7-game slate on DraftKings on FanDuel. Tips off normal time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Game number 1, the Detroit Pistons hosting the Brooklyn Nets. You're projected starting 5 for the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Joe Harris, Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan taking on DeLon Wright. Wayne's World. Ellington. Does Wayne Ellington deserve a thing? Maybe not. Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin, Mason Plumlee, 229.5 total. 6.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Brooklyn Nets. A couple accused that we want to do our due diligence on from the Department of Redundancy Department. And we'll start with the guard situation. We know Killian Hayes is out. DeLon Wright, left ankle sprain, questionable. He logged 46 minutes on Saturday, but he must have tweaked his ankle in the process. Should have a better idea of his status going forward. Dennis Smith Jr. recently traded from the New York Knicks in exchange for Derrick Rose. He's dealing with COVID protocol complications. So he is a to be determined player in terms of activeness for today. Frank Jackson, illness, non-COVID related, is being listed as questionable. He's not a big enough part of the rotation to be too concerned here. Wayne Ellington, right calf, being listed as questionable. He has missed the last 2 games for Detroit, which has resulted in Sadiq Bey moving into the starting lineup. So it'll be likely more of the same if Ellington's out again. And then you mentioned, Ryan mentioned Saban Lee in the chat. He has been a coach's DNP for quite a bit. So we'll see what goes here. I gotta feel like DeLon Wright's gonna be closer to in than out. But certainly we'll keep an eye on that. 229.5 total. What we do know, Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant is out. So that's going to boost the usage and the workload here for Kyrie Irving and James Harden. Out of curiosity, man, we got time. Let's do things the right way today. Let's just put Kyrie and James Harden on the court, and let's take Mr. Durant off of the court. And see what it's spitting back here. 29% usage rate here for Kyrie. Just 69 minutes. Nice. 69 minutes for Harden as well. His usage drops to 19, but both of them over a fantasy point per minute. Not enough minutes here to really factor that in. I think at 10.9K for Harden, 9.3K for Kyrie Irving, you're essentially saying, hey, at $21,000 on DraftKings, if I put these two together, could I get over 100 fantasy points? I think the answer is yes. So I think that's going to be an approach I do a lot, especially in cash. I just handcuff them together, see what happens. There's going to be studs and great spots coming up. I love Nikola Vucevic. I love Joel Embiid. So it may not be as practical once line of construction begins, but early on, if I'm attacking this game, especially for multi-entry, I certainly like putting those two together. The Pistons defensively really poor against everything. Joe Harris at 5'1", 6'2". It feels very JJ Redick-y, where you probably going to need 20-plus real points. Redick in his prime, 20-plus real points and some peripherals for him to be a factor. So he would probably be a tier 3 for me. And I don't know that I land on a whole lot of Green and DeAndre Jordan. You can make that chip in a chair case for Jordan, but I'm just not there. I don't think he's evolved enough offensively, and I feel like I don't want to sacrifice those raw points from some of those guys in amazing spots at the center spot. Might put deep minutes on Landry Shamet, Timothy Luwawu, but all those guys are spin the wheel, make a deal. Kyrie and James Harden, the priorities for me on the Nets side. On the Pistons side, a lot of what we do end up playing is going to be contingent on who is active in the guard situation. Nonetheless, though, Jeremy Grant at 7.8K on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings. Why can't I quit you? I've just been playing this dude all year, and I've had a lot of mixed results, and a lot of times the results are impacted by just, blowouts or lopsided games, something like that, or just him having a bad shooting night. There's oftentimes he'll shoot 20% on 15, 20 shots, but on the season he's sustained a 26.5% usage rate. That'll be the highest on the team right now, because that Derrick Rose stuff is gone. He's averaging over a fantasy point per minute. I've said it before. I think the Brooklyn Nets defense is arguably one of the worst in the league right now, and their best individual defender is Kevin Durant. He's not going to be in the game. So Jeremy Grant has a shot on DraftKings, I think, to put up 48 fantasy points at a reduced price point, 7K. Definitely going to be one of my favorite options on the slate. Absolutely my favorite Piston. Mason Plumlee, another guy I think could point per minute his way to 30-plus fantasy points. I'd be putting those two together a lot. If these guards are out, I think Blake Griffin might play some point guard. As awkward as that sounds, at 5'3", 5K, you might just have to have a little bit of him. And I think I wouldn't go too crazy, but the matchup is the matchup, and we've seen opportunities of 38, 34, 38. It's very consistently inconsistent, but it's certainly a range of outcome in this matchup. And then if for some reason we had Wayne Ellington down and DeLon Wright was hampered, if Sadiq Bey started, you can make a case there. But I think Josh Jackson, there is no Derrick Rose, but if there's no Dennis Smith Jr. And DeLon Wright or any of those guys, I really just could probably play it now if Dennis Smith Jr. is out. But Josh Jackson's in a spot to surprise some people off the bench in this matchup. 5'5", 5'7", I'm not getting a great deal, maybe not a ton of meat on the bone, but absolutely somebody that I think could stun you with 30-plus fantasy points. So those are a couple of the names that are kind of standing out to me. Would love to see what you guys are thinking in the chat before we matriculate on to the next one. Jim Paris, what up, Jim? Milton's too cheap at point guard. Shake Milton, all right. Mopar, I lost the day slate. I missed the Devin Booker and Etuan Moore news, but came back in the night slate. Yes, sir. You can always come back and play those turbos. Sway, I love Grant on both sides. Definitely love Jeremy Grant. Solid picks. You got to give Wayne Ellington the Wayne's World. Are we serious? What other Wayne do we have? We don't have any other Waynes, bro. There's no other Wayne. Like, if we're gonna, I don't know. if Ellington's gonna be a starter, we give him the Wayne's World. I don't know. I think I'm plus 4,200 this season on DK. Nice, Mopar. You mean Joe Harris? Tell me what you think if this lineup for single game FanDuel: Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Bogdanovich, and Williams. For the single game. Okay, so you think Tatum will be the highest scorer, Mitchell will be number 2, Gobert. I think that's fine. Yeah, I don't disagree with it. It certainly, if Jaylen Brown did play, that becomes a little bit more variable. I also think there's maybe a chip in a chair for Gobert in a slower game, but yeah, I think those are fine. My number 1 center is Mason Plumlee on both sides, and Lorenza. Whoa, you mean number 1 points per dollar? Even then, let's just talk about FanDuel, where you can only play 1 center. Joel Embiid gets the Sacramento Kings. Nikola Vucevic, with no Gordon, with no Evan Fournier, gets the Portland Trailblazers. And you want to scroll all the way down and click Mason Plumlee. I ain't mad at you. I think the play individually, points per dollar, absolutely makes a ton of sense. I love centers against the Nets. Their rebound rate, absolutely atrocious. If you trust Mason for 26 to 30 minutes, I got him right there above 26. I think PPM, but on FanDuel, you really got to think about, are we sacrificing raw points? Whereas we're happy in a nutshell if Mason Plumlee dropped 35, but if Joel Embiid has a 60 bomb, if Vooch has 50 plus, is that 20 to 30 fantasy point gap? Are we making those points up elsewhere? And the answer could be yes, but I don't know that I don't know if I'm sacrificing it like that. But I like them individually. I haven't projected at value. Blake at this point has been mostly a facilitator all year, but no results. There's been a couple of games where you needed Blake at this, or where you could definitely use Blake at this price. So it's definitely not a comfort click. It would be a tier 3. Him and LaMarcus Aldridge are having very similar fantasy seasons where their name value makes you look at them, and then their game log is just like ill. But every couple games they're dropping it, and the Nets are that team without KD that you can get off on. Jackson's probably the pivot off of trendy chalk Grant. Maybe. I also don't think it's impossible for both of them to coincide in this matchup. Wayne Ellington is definitely worthy. There's no other Waynes, bro. There's no other Wayne. G Yali, what's up, G? How much exposure would you have to Griffin? What's your top 3 power forward on FanDuel? So Griffin's definitely never going to be a priority. And the way I like to make lineups, if you guys are new to the stream, or not necessarily lineups, the way I like to make my player pool, because I do use optimizers, I use Fantasy Labs, but I like to tier the player pools into tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 for everyone that's above 5K. My tier 1's self-explanatory. These guys I like the most. It doesn't necessarily mean the guys I think will be the highest owned. It's just the guys I like the most, and I want to build my night around. My tier 2. So in 50 or less lineups, these could be 50 to 60% owned guys. For me, even more. Tier 2s would probably be 20 to 30%. Maybe 30 to 40%, depending on if I'm running 20 lineups. And then tier 3s are guys I'm probably capping at 20, 25%. And then under 5K, I'll do my core value guys that I think are super safe for filling a role at their price point, and then the riskier value. So the question was, what do I do with Blake there? So Blake will just be a tier 3. When he falls, but I'm not going to put myself over 25% of him, more than likely. And there's a good chance I have even less than that. But the matchup is making me at least play the numbers, and the numbers say he's worth a shot. And I think his worthiness could go up or down based on the guards that would be available later today, the Ellingtons, the DeLon Wright, stuff like that. What was the second part of that question? Top 3 power forwards on FanDuel. I haven't really I haven't got the gut reaction yet because I haven't swept the slate yet, but I can real quick peek at what my projections say for FanDuel. My top 3 points per dollar. Really, let's go top 3 value. So Isaiah Stewart. Okay, buddy. Well, wait, that's okay. I will say power forward looks like it's pretty yucky on FanDuel today. really yucky. Adebayo's got a really nice spot. I might end up selling myself on him. I wish his price was a little cheaper. Zion, I think, give me the 40. Draymond is so not fun to click at 7.5, right? But he's had 3 good games. They do correlate with the Wiseman being out, the Pascal being out stuff, and he's playing a role right now. And I'm sure he wants to make up for that folly at the end of last night's game. Power forward is so tough. Man, you hit me with a tough question right there. Anyway, let me open this back up for the Vipers. If you guys want access to my projections, I do DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. It is a premium perk at rundfs.com. What else we got? The game could go over total if Wright is in. Man, the Pistons are scrappy, right? They really are. Raj is here. Uh-oh, did we bring Raj in the mix finally? Let's try Raj in here. Yo. Anyway, let me finish reading chat here. Blake is fine on FanDuel because power forward is really, really weak. Sterling Brown, Alexander, and Burks good for value. At Sterling Brown. Yeah,
I told y'all Sterling Brown yesterday.
It was fine. LP man just started watching, so I don't know if you say anything about him. But what do you think about Lenny? I haven't touched that game yet. But definitely would put him on the radar. He'd be the freshest legs on the Spurs since he didn't play last night. They are down Derek White. And maybe on a night 2 of a back-to-back, Pop will be a little bit more cautious with some of the elder guards like Patty Mills. What was that shot from Draymond? That Draymond shot makes no sense at all. Raj, I'm on game 1. Nets and Pistons. Anything crazy? I think I covered the obvious.
I mean, no, Jeremy Grant, I would say is a tier 2 type of guy today, maybe tier 1. Just depends on, I think kind of depends on DeLon Wright news. So waiting on that. Yeah. If he's out, I'd probably tier 1. Grant. Griffin's never a comfortable click. He'll have it is a spot though for him. Yeah. It seems like a 30+ point spot. And I guess if DeLon Wright sits, I mean, does that open up? I mean, their point guard depth.
It depends. Yeah. Well, even Jackson's questionable. The first guy I'd be curious. The first guy I'd want is Josh Jackson, if the rest were out. So I definitely want some clarity. I would say, first of all, this is the first game at lock, and then the Pistons have one of the more fantasy-friendly beat writers, right, Rod Beard. So I feel like we'll get a good clue.
You think Josh Jackson would start at point guard?
I don't know. I think Blake Griffin would be point guard, as crazy as that sounds. Maybe Jeremy Grant.
Or Grant. But, no, I don't hate that call.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get moving, man. I just spent forever on that game.
Not in love with Harden or Kyrie, or just the other guys on the side. Yeah, I'm not in love with those guys. I get it. Obviously, Durant's out. It's Detroit, good matchup at their prices. I just like some other guys the way the lineup is building right now. So, this past couple of days, like I told even yesterday, like all the Bulls guys just kind of whatever, like none of them are winning lineups. I don't think Harden or Kyrie will be in any winning lineups tonight.
I want to disagree with you, but my favorite way to start a lineup today is Embiid Vucevic. So
yeah,
I can only imagine that's not gonna
every time I agree with you, I end up doing bad. So maybe they are gonna be in a winning lineup.
God dang
my first click was Vucevic and thing 2. Now I'm gonna go the other way because lately has not been working out.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Rockets at the Pelicans. Rockets night 2 of a back-to-back. Project starting 5 for the Rockets: John Wall, Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, PJ Tucker, DeMarcus Boogie Cousins taking on Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Stone Cold Steven Adams. It's going to give you one board. What? Rockets last night were led by Oladipo, and wasn't Eric Gordon out last night? So tonight, Depot is going to rest. John Wall, Eric Gordon in. DeMarcus Cousins is going to play. It is a quote-unquote
50 bomb
revenge game. Flop lag coming right up. He's 6K on FanDuel, which is so, of course he is.
It's just so tilting.
It's just of course he is. I'll tell you what, last night, he was efficient, right? Points per minute. He just missed the dub.
Decided not to play in the fourth quarter. They scored 7 points. They just didn't
completely went flat. He missed the dub by a putback. I saw 6K. Like, he's still there. You still play him. And I think it's crazy. We talked about Mason Plumlee in that last game. Mason Plumlee's $300 cheaper than DeMarcus Cousins, and it's just like, wow, how do you click Mason Plumlee over Boogie here? So I think on FanDuel, I'm still right there on Boogie. On DraftKings at 7.4K, you start to make the case that, hey, maybe I do prioritize the higher end guys.
Even on FanDuel, like, it's okay fading Boogie if you just want to pay up for center. Like, that's perfectly fine.
I don't want to leave the Boogie train just yet, but the Pelicans have been a better team defensively. Steven Adams against centers to maybe suffocate some peripherals. Boogie's Boogie. If he wants to thrive, he's going to thrive. I'm definitely going to play him at 6K. But normally, without blinking, he'd be tier 1 at 6K. But I think today I'm going the Embiid Vucevic. DeMarcus Cousins, DKP by Game Log versus Steven Adams. Let's go last 10 games. I'm sure we're going to go back seasons and seasons and seasons. He is, wide range of outcomes here. 27 minutes with Golden State, dropped 39. So not enough. Like, there's really no substance to what I just looked up. With Gordon and Wall back, do the Rockets have a better chance offensively to stay in this game? I think so. The Pelicans' defensive rating, one of the bottom ratings in basketball, 113.3 points per 100 possessions. That's bottom 10.
Aren't both these teams really slow too?
No. The Rockets, no. I have the Rockets pace at above average, but it's not like
they're not insanely fast. Yeah, I was gonna say
I have them
the old Rockets.
I have them top 6 still, but there is that can get lost in translation here. I don't think the Harden games are impacting this too much. The Pelicans are definitely below average in pace. I can't 6K for Eric Gordon is tough. John Wall I think has some meat on the bone, but does he just get lost in lineup construction when we're kind of going high lows? I'd
probably the core right with Vooch and Embiid.
You would put Wall. You think Wall? Okay, yeah. I'm just curious.
I mean, at 7-3, you get the minutes without Oladipo. He's assist double spot for him. I think you're good for 40+ here.
You would core him.
Yep, with Vooch. Yep.
I feel like he's the same play as Oladipo, and that's not a bad thing. It's just 40+.
I want to say John Wall's. He's been a little more consistent than Oladipo.
He definitely hasn't been at all, but okay.
I think Oladipo's been priced up a little more.
Sure.
I mean, without Oladipo too. So John Wall at 7-3, no Oladipo. Pick and roll with Boogie. I like it.
Yeah, if you're playing him, you're playing for 40+. I definitely don't disagree with it, but like if it came down to it in a util spot and you had to go Jeremy Grant or John Wall, I'd probably go Jeremy Grant.
And he played 32 minutes the last game.
Mm-hmm.
So he finally got above 30 minutes. 3 games before that, 28, 22, 26. So I think they're kind of letting him off his leash a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have that conviction on him. I understand the play, though. Like, I'd probably tier 3 him. Pelican side. So Zion Williamson, I think, is a guy that I'm going to have way more than maybe I thought I would have waking up this morning, just looking at how shallow the power forward position is on FanDuel. I mean, it is steep. We got 10K essentially for Jason Tatum against the Utah Jazz, which is rough. We got 9K for Julius Randle against the Miami Heat, which, crossing with Adebayo, that can go several different ways. I'd be okay on some of that. Adebayo at 8-8 against the Knicks. I love bigs against the Knicks, so, I'd probably put a little bit on that. But we're talking 9-10K price range. That's going to eat away elsewhere. Zion is at 8-4. I feel like
Barnes not power forward?
No, he's a small forward. I feel like I'm okay. Like, Zion probably is the guy that just bleeds through points per dollar. Give me that 40+ fantasy points. I think Zion's going to be there's a good chance Zion's my highest owned power forward unless I just start getting cute with some of these more cheap value guys, maybe a Jeff Green, guys like that. I think Zion will be my highest owned power forward on FanDuel today. So I just thought I'd bring that up because normally if I just look at this game, I'm probably not in love with Zion, but I think today he's the best of the worst in terms of uncomfortable clicks. So
FanDuel play, I get it. Ingram and I think Zion and Ingram, I mean, you kind of play them almost every slate, right? The usage is going to be there. They're going to have their big games.
sometimes I feel like they're almost even like matchup proof. Like you just know they're the two that are going to chuck on this team, get it done. So having a bit of both, don't hate it. Again, Houston, not the greatest defensive team, so they should be able to score easily. Guy like Lonzo Ball, 6'3", against John Wall defense. He's been relatively consistent, 30-plus past 4 games. At that price, he's gotten 40-plus in some spots, so I wouldn't run away from Lonzo Ball either. I feel like I'm liking these Pelicans a little too much. I mean, they're priced accordingly. Like, they're not overpriced, they're not underpriced. They're all priced right. So if I fall into any of these guys, even Bledsoe, I mean, obviously not as consistent, but I mean, I'd probably find the extra 300 for Lonzo. But again, if you fall into Bledsoe, don't hate it. So if you fall into any of these guys, Ingram, Zion, Bledsoe, or Lonzo, Bledsoe probably not as comfortable, but the Lonzo, Zion, and Ingram, I'm with it.
Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna look at the last couple power forwards against the Rockets. It's not great. PJ Washington, yikes. Keldon Johnson, yikes. Brandon Clark, 26 and 27. Darius Baisley dropped the 40 bomb in 35 minutes. So it really just, it's not preceded by like fantastic performances, but Zion's different, higher usage, probably going to give us 20 real points, and then we're looking for peripherals. In the Rockets do have a less than stellar rebound rate on both offense and defense, and the Pelicans do thrive at rebounding. So there's that. Let's see what else we got in the live chat before we move on. Man, you guys are active today. Shout out, chat. When I hit live, I was a little bit worried. It took a minute to get you guys in here. Hollywood, what website did you use to look that up? I believe you're looking at this. This is statmuse.com. Really fun website with context, right? Put context with everything. Sometimes people in chat will say, you know, Buddy Hield kills the Celtics, and then we look at it, it's from like 5 years ago before De'Aaron Fox. Did you just De'Aaron Fox? What the freak? Rod, just get out of stop.
Hey, picking it up.
Whoa. Picking it up. Before
De'Aaron Fox.
Not okay. Boogie looked slow and old last night. I think Boogie was still extremely efficient per minute. Let's go look at the popcorn machine on that game. There was a burst right at the end of the game, like between third and fourth quarter, where it just got away, and Boogie ended up not touching the court after his run in the third quarter. If that game didn't get away, Boogie comes back in the fourth quarter, and it's just a fine play. Like he
gets like 35 DKP.
Yeah.
DK, and it was like whatever.
But I don't know. He could. I mean, if it was a closer game, he probably, I don't know. It probably gets a little bit stronger performance. But yes. But instead, Depot came in, and it was guys like David Nwaba, Sterling Brown, Mason Jones. Like it just got away from him. But per minute, DeMarcus Cousins was fine. Floor-wise, you want a little bit more, but at 6K, man, if you think this game stays close, go for it. I'll say the Rockets, I don't know if I trust them, but per min at 6K, I can't have no Boogie. Paul says core for him is Draymond, Vooch, and Embiid. We'll have an uncomfortable Draymond conversation, chat. Get your beer.
I mean, I don't hate that core.
What's up with you guys in tiers? That's Guns thing. No, tiers is I think it's a great way to start making your player pool. So if you guys are yoinking tiers for your own process, I'm happy. Like, go for it. I can't
just say like a tier 1 is you're gonna have like 60% of someone, tier 2 40, and like tier 3 20.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah. Millie Oswin, why Bam Robinson's been locking up the paint nicely. No, centers have been absolutely going off.
I mean, he got 50 on him last game.
Yeah, no, I Millie, you might want to double check that. Like, centers have been great against the Knicks this year for fantasy. Ben Snapping, what's up, Ben? Gun, what up? Cool question on single entry. Who would be your personal big three for FanDuel or DraftKings? For DraftKings, I'd be starting Embiid and Vucevic, and I want to say Jeremy Grant. Like, I think that's a fun three.
See, I had a 4 of like Grant and then with Wall, but I just need some value to kind of make that fit a lot more nicely.
Yeah. For Turbo, no Houston ball game. There we go. Waited all day for Ross to say De'Aaron. It's more. What's up, Chris? That sheet is legit. Don't sleep on it. Yeah. The spreadsheet. Yeah. It's a VIP perk. The spreadsheet isn't like. This isn't magic for the most part. Yeah, I have my projections, but the sheet is more so my way to present information in an easy to understand aesthetically pleasing way, right? So the index portals, my projected minutes, but the points per game, the assists per game, this is just what they've done. I've just taken the stats that's widely available and try to present it for you guys to access it quick and make some decisions quick. So it is. Since power forward on FanDuel is horrific, what's your thoughts on Noah Vonleh? Is he active? I saw he got signed. I don't know if he's he's not in the DraftKings pool apparently. Vonleh, Brooklyn. He might get some run today. He hasn't played yet, but if he's active, he might be extremely sleepery at min priced. He will be available to make his Nets debut on Tuesday against the Detroit Pistons. So maybe he gets Reggie Perry minutes. And Reggie Perry, we saw some games at 19, 21. I don't know. Reggie Perry. I don't even want to look this up, chat. But like, if he's gonna get Reggie Perry minutes, min priced, I do like bigs against the Pistons front court, and that could be just an elite tournament play. So good on you for keeping that in your mind. Sometimes your tears make me cry. Aw. Grant, no matter if Wright plays, yeah. Where do I get the sheet? The sheet's a premium perk at rundfs.com. It is a behind the paywall feature. I'm sorry. Let's move on to the next game. Miami Heat hosting the New York Knicks. Project starting five for the Knicks. Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson taking on Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G. Buckets, Kelly Olynyk, Bam Adebayo, 209 total, 6.5 point spread. I think I have to play Elf because he looks like The Weeknd, and I hate Rods for hating on The Weeknd. So no,
definitely, Elf is the fade of the day for that one right there. He's gonna bomb just like that halftime show.
So this is one of our slowest pace, lowest total games on the slate. We pull up the DVP chart though. However, the New York Knickerbockers have been allowing sizable games to opposing centers, 56.1 fantasy points per game to opposing bigs. You at least consider Adebayo in the spot. I don't feel like we're getting a great deal at his price point, flirting with 9K on both sides. You get price out of that. The only reason I'm really even considering Adebayo right now is because of how shallow power forward is on FanDuel. Is this a spot where I just overpay for a 40 fantasy point game from Adebayo and hope that, those raw points take me to the dance? If it is, maybe I tier 3 him. If it's not, and I just rather underpay or should punt a 3 to 5K player for 20 and hope I make up the points elsewhere, I think that's probably where I end up. But I'd at least say that the Knicks matchup has been super solid for opposing bigs. They're allowing 5.7 blocks per game. Adebayo's averaging a block per game. Maybe he gets off a couple more of those. We mentioned Adebayo had a couple strong games earlier this season, or one strong game earlier this season. 38 minutes, dropped a 50 bomb. There's probably no shot that I get to Adebayo on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, he's tickling me. Tyler Hero versus Kendrick Nunn. I think Kendrick Nunn's a little bit interesting to me. I got him at 33 minutes. I don't know if he starts or doesn't. RotoWorld had Nunn as the starter, but I feel like it's Hero's job, so I just kind of executive decision and put Tyler Hero in, but just know it could be the opposite. If it is the opposite, we've seen games earlier this season without Goran Dragic where Nunn just played a ton of minutes and got there based on minutes. He's 5.6K, so there's not really a reason to go crazy with that. And then Jimmy Butler. Ever since Butler's been back in the lineup, he's just been Mr. 40 plus, right? 44 and a half exactly in 3 straight games. How magnificent is that? Like, how do you even do that? That's amazing. Yep. But look at this game log. I mean, Jimmy Butler might have one of the most consistent game logs since coming back, since January 6th, but since January 30th, coming back from the team from a couple a weeks break, like 40 plus at 8.3K. I will say it was one of the best strength of schedules you could ask for, right? Sacramento, Charlotte, a pair of games against Washington. But that last game against these Knicks, the team scored $109. 44.5 fantasy points, 8.3. You'd probably shove that as a tier 3 stocking stuffer, right? Here and there, it drops into a couple lineups. Yeah, go for it.
I think Bam and Randall can be dueling 50 bombs too.
Right. Okay. I was also going to say with Dragic out, I think Jimmy Butler might get a little bit more assist upside too. One thing you don't get with Jimmy Butler though is the 3-ball. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to that, but we kind of stumbled on it while coming up with some prop bets. I think he's made 1 3 this season, maybe 2, and he's like 0 for everything, and he doesn't shoot for a high volume.
Definitely early 2000s small forward, long twos and attacking the baskets.
You mentioned Julius Randle. Is this our last? It could be our last 40-minute Randle game without Derrick Rose. I don't know if Derrick Rose is going to be one of his 30-minute guys, but it's last time out. February 7th, 2 days ago, 38 minutes against the Heat. Tough matchup, but his minutes, his usage muscled him there at 56 fantasy points, doubled, almost triple-doubled. I wouldn't have a high level of confidence. It would be a tier 3. And like I said, I think
in tournaments, Bam and Randall could combine and outscore Vooch and Embiid, who will be a lot more popular. So DraftKings, I'll have some of that combo.
That is
a different approach there.
I guess there's not a 0% chance that happens, but wow.
I'm sick and tired of always playing these chop plays. And it's like, even when they hit, so some other guy hits to into the winning lineup.
Van says no. So you do have so I think Kendrick Nunn is starting, is what chat said. So we'll go Nunn starting.
Coming off the bench.
So Hero off the bench at 5.86. I can't pay $7K.
He's priced up. Yeah, he's priced up. Duncan Robinson. No, I think it's a bump to Jimmy and Bam. I think they might be the de facto point guard. Really, there's not more of a scoring type of guard. So don't expect them to.
Yeah, Jimmy. I think Jimmy's super solid. I think his price is staying. At least on DraftKings, a spot where I gotta have some tier 3 exposures to him. If he gets 40, he gets 40. Probably, doesn't help, doesn't hurt for first place. But that's a solid stocking stuffer, and then we know that the upside is higher, and the minutes are nuts. But overall, though, this can be slow pace, slow scoring game. But we're just attacking guys with deep rolls and deep minutes. If Derrick Rose was available,
not playing him.
You're not playing. It says he's unlikely to be available anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe this is our last day for Emmanuel Quickly. 4.9. He only got 17 minutes last time out.
Yeah, I'm praying he played 32 minutes. That could change today. I don't want to get there. I don't think you need to get there. Sure, is he a value play? He's not even a value play. 4.9 on DK. No, I just think you could fade that guard situation and go somewhere else.
Can't lie, Raj owned you yesterday, Boucher and Booker. I had no.
Talk about it.
I played both of them.
That's that guy who was bashing him on stream, but
no. I like. Are you dumb? Did anybody pay attention to what I was saying? I was never anti Boucher or Booker. It was I didn't have them tier 1. Like I had my single entry had Boucher. I posted that in chat. I didn't say I'm fading them. They're bad plays. I said they're not tier 1s. I had more Levine. I had more Oladipo. And that's just the way it worked out. And Boucher, he made you sweat, and all he did was hit value.
I mean,
right?
if the coach just did some minutes, it's free Boucher. I don't know what Nick Nurse is doing.
Anyway, and Kyle Lowry got hurt. That didn't hurt. All right, chat. What are we doing here? Van says New York Miami's a stay away game for me. Paul says I'm waiting for Jimmy to triple double like. Gun, help me out. Who are your top locks in a single entry? If we're talking DraftKings, like I said, Vucevic, Embiid, and then I have a infatuation with Jeremy Grant. Well, I cannot quit you. And that's probably the first 3. I need to find my favorite value plays. No one's sticking out to me just yet. If like DeLon Wright were out or vice versa, like Josh Jackson is waving at me. No 3 from Jimmy. One of the reasons I don't like playing him or DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, but at least he'll make up for peripherals. Who is better in the mid range, DDR, buckets, or Kawhi?
DDR.
DeMar's poor range might be the end of Elf. Not quickly. They love him in New York. Yeah, Elfrid Payton. Yeah, he might be. I wonder if Derrick Rose will be the starting point guard. Like I definitely know that Thibodeau wanted him. That's his guy. But does he start? Is the question. Warriors at the San Antonio Spurs. Next game on the docket. Warriors project starting 5. Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Draymond Green taking on Dejounte Murray, Lonnie Walker the fourth, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? 230 is our total, a 1-point spread. This game should absolutely be something you guys sweep through and come away with some plays. Steph Curry is Steph Curry, 10.4K for him. I said it yesterday, could see him falling through the cracks, and he just drops 54 yesterday in the same spot. 17 shot attempts, 6 for 11. Just was another great, solid game, right? You take 50. He does have immediate competition with a little bit more fresh leg James Harden, without Kevin Durant, so you might be curious about. Not curious. Like, that's a coin flip, right? Who scores more? James Harden, Steph Curry. Harden's, he's got a case. Harden could be a 70 bomber tonight. And then Draymond Green. I think Draymond is the chat, right? Draymond's the guy. We all need to come together and decide. Are we investing in 7K Draymond? Is this Draymond the vintage Draymond where we didn't need real points? Like, again, last night he doubled without real points. Do you pay 6.9K for Draymond Green, Raj? 42 plus, 3 straight games. 2 of them are against Dallas. 7K, I feel like I'm out.
I'm not going back to DeJounte Murray today. That's definitely no.
I mean, I will, but
I just think it like 8 steals are definitely fake.
Hey, are you in on 7K Draymond? I'm not going to Dejounte Murray today.
I try to get that in there because he's going to be chalk. But when it comes to Draymond,
I wasn't going to talk about the Spurs. You're in on Draymond at 7K.
I'm in on Draymond at 7K. He still got 10 assists yesterday. He's playing the minutes. The usage is there. He got 7 real life points, almost a triple double. There's still upside there at that 6.9 price tag on DK2. So give me some Draymond Green.
Chat, are you guys in? Are we buying Draymond? Oh, think about how many times this season where we've paid like 5K for Draymond. He's just dropped 10.
It's just like Draymond, though.
I mean, sure. I don't know. I guess Pascal's availability.
He played
12 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable. All right, chat, let me know what you're doing on Draymond. Let's have a conversation. Dejounte Murray's an effing lock. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
I'm going to fade it. Peggy Sue, baby.
So,
he's going to bust today. I'm going to play all the DeRozan.
No, you're. What is your Dejounte Murray? 6,500. Give me 35. We'll walk to the bank. You give me another 50, sure. No Aldridge. No Derek White. It's a 230 total. You are a guy that has your finger in a lot of the production for your team. Dejounte Murray is 6,500. You're
like 50% ownership. I'm gonna just fade.
Effing play him. Like what? Like effing play him.
I'm just gonna fade. At that ownership, I'm gonna fade.
Can't. Not gonna be me. I'll tell you that. Not gonna catch me without Dejounte
Murray. Jeremy Grant or Dejounte Murray 1v1.
Point guard or small forward 1v1. You can't do that.
I'm saying, no. If you have Joel Embiid and Vooch in the lineup, getting both those guys in is like super tough. So you're probably gonna get one of them.
No, it's not. What? You're dumb. What you doing?
What? Look how much you're left with. Are you insane?
Okay, let's put Joel Embiid, Vucevic, get Jeremy Spoken, put Grant in the small forward spot.
4,200 left.
Okay,
and there's
then
not
we
a lot
get
of
Dejounte in the mix. I mean, you could literally say this with anybody. If you turn Embiid and Vooch into your boys Adebayo and Randall, it doesn't. That's not how it works. You find 1 or 2 3K guys and you open up the like Dejounte Murray.
Is there one 3K guy today that you really love? No,
not yet.
We'll see.
DraftKings value projections. I have Dejounte Murray as my 4th highest value play on the slate.
Who are your 3K guys?
There's Frank Mason. There's Lonnie Walker in this game. And there's
okay.
Yeah.
Lonnie Walker I get. He might end up being a premier value just because there's nobody else. If Delon Wright gets ruled in.
I mean, yeah, Lonnie Walker's bare bones min price FanDuel 3,600 on DraftKings. Can I get 20 plus DKP? That's what I got him projected for. Why not? Fresh legs.
Like I said, he might get the extra minutes bump because he's fresh legs.
Don't fade Dejounte Murray. Don't do it. Friends don't let friends. He had 8 steals last night, bro.
Yeah, that's not happening again.
But he could. I mean, he still has triple double potential, right? He can go out there and get the rebounds.
Yeah.
10 rebounds last night. You saw 11 rebounds against Minnesota. A faster paced game. Should be a track meet. Last night's game only scored 205 points. This game has a total of 230. So there's even room for more real points to go around if it lives up to the hype, right?
Yeah.
All right, DeRozan 8-3-7-8. How many times are you playing DeRozan over Jimmy Butler heads up here? Or is it just we're spraying and praying them both as a tier 3?
I think you kind of sprayed and prayed them both to the tier 3. I mean, he got there yesterday too.
He did.
Fine.
No, he was fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So a 7-8 again. Like you said, no Aldridge. He's kind of doing his thing. Again, ton of playmaking there. I like DeMar DeRozan here.
Chat, what are we doing? I need to get the Draymond consensus. Cause 7K for Draymond. That's the one I'm out on. Like, how are you in on a higher price Draymond and out on Dejounte? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, Dejounte is just ownership play. I think he's going to be uberly wildly owned. Like his price.
We're not expecting. I don't know, Draymond.
I'm just gonna fade the super chalk. I'm just going with that today. See how it turns out. The 8 steals again, a little fake. 27 real life points, a little fake. I mean, I expect Jonathan Murray to get you 30. Just be like an okay play. I don't think he smashes again today. Draymond. I don't think people are going to click on him at that price. And I think his upside, it's still there. So you're getting a low owned Draymond Green at 6,900 with 50-point upside. I'll take that.
Let's get caught up on chat. Mopar says, quick question, Gun, was your first big win more skill or luck or even a combination of both? Okay, so I've definitely had some big wins that are luck, overtime, stuff like that. But my first big win, I think, was skill. Because that was back in the day where 330 could win tournaments, and I literally hand built. It was a slam on FanDuel, and this we're talking, Jesus, 5-6 years ago. I did get overtime because I had Harden, LeBron in that lineup, but I played a 1% Nikola Mirotic before anybody even knew who he was. I had like some obscure center from the Pelicans, big dopey white guy. I can't think of his name. It was the Angel. I don't know what his name was. But the first one I'll say was skill because I literally hand selected each player in that lineup and put it together. Last couple big wins, I'm scripting. I'm still making player pools scripting, but the first one I thought was skill. Lorenzo says, I love Draymond. One thing you can't do is look at the name. He's definitely the minutes for Draymond is what's most encouraging because that is feeling a lot like vintage Draymond. High minutes and just getting you the dirty work. And he's going to do the hustle stats. And then if he does pop off for 10, 15 real points one game, he's on triple double watch. Lorenzo says Murray's my lock. We'll get different somewhere else. Yeah, Murray's just in a great spot without Aldridge, without Derek White, in a great matchup. Van Jones says Steph has played better in all his same team's second game this year, with the exception of Minnesota game. Played Steph for 70 tonight. I could see that. If Draymond hit that 3, it would be at 54.5. Yeah, he would have got that trip dub, right? Oh, my God. I also feel like Draymond might be inspired to make up for that, if that makes sense. Not on FanDuel. 7,500 is too much for the non-scorer of the NBA. I feel like if there's a site where you can justify not playing a guy that's going to give you a solid floor of scoring, it's probably FanDuel because they're gonna give you more points for those steals and blocks and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm in on the Draymond. I can get there. All right, Danny Green at 37. Blah 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 blah. Giuliano with you, Gun all the way is Murray 6,800 tier 1. He's knocking on the door. He's knocking on the door. I think on FanDuel, absolutely. Peter Dobish, call me crazy. I like Frank Mason. He's at the top of my value chart right now. Even without the 8 steals, Murray drops 41. Yeah, I take that exactly.
Take the chalk.
And Angica, yeah, what's his name? Angica Pelicans, and Angica and Ajinka, Alexei Ajinka, I think is his name. Yeah, okay. That's who I won my first big tournament with, and I never went to work again for the rest of like ever since then. I've just been full-time DFS player. But like I forget who was out for the Bulls, man. Somebody was out for the Bulls, and I didn't have spreadsheets. I didn't have algorithms. I barely had a YouTube channel. I don't even know if I had one. I think I had one, but it wasn't like for NBA. And I just went into game logs, and I went to Nikola Mirotic, and he was getting like 5, 8, 10 minute like in the game log. And in my head, I was just doing points per minute, fantasy points per minute. I was like, oh, he's been a fantasy point per minute. And then he drew the start, and he went bananas. And he was really my wild card doing that tournament. And he was 1%. And like 2 years later, Mirotic is like chalk on all the slates. And yeah, it's fun times. Anyway, let's move on to the next game. Orlando Magic at the Portland Trailblazers. Project starting 5 for the Magic. Cole Anthony, Dwayne Bacon, James Ennis III, Gary Clark Jr., Nikola Vucevic taking on Damian Lillard, Gary Trent, Rodney. I'm so hood. Robert Covington, and they hate us because they ain't us. Cantor, 219.5 total. 6-point spread in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. First of all, I want to but I want to point out the gap here. An hour and a half gap between the Spurs game and this Blazers game. Then we get a pair of West Coast games. I think this game might be undervalued tonight. I think Vooch versus Damian Lillard is such a fun 1v1 in a game to put some lineups around where these two can combine for 100+. I have them both projected at 50 plus fantasy points. I think Vooch is probably underpriced on both sides. The caveat or even the risk here with the Magic is, do they stay competitive long enough, strong enough to stay in the game? And you would think that with the Blazers as short-handed as they are, the answer is yes. But the Magic kind of fell flat against the Chicago Bulls on that night too. But man, without Evan Fournier, without Aaron Gordon, it's the Vucci Gang show. So I'm gonna pull up the Orlando Magic
and Cole Anthony.
And Cole Anthony. I'm going to pull up the Orlando Magic on the on-off court tool, and let's take off Fournier. Let's take off Aaron Gordon. And then I guess we'll put on Cole Anthony and Vucevic. And yeah, Cole Anthony still benefits from being one of the only point guards on the team. Vucevic, 36.1% usage rate, point per minute. Cole Anthony's at 25%. He's like half a point per minute, but he's been showing some strides lately. I'm definitely higher on Vooch than Anthony, but I have Anthony right at 30 fantasy points. I'll take that. And then, like we said, I like Lillard all the same. And guards, especially point guards against the Magic, they're getting there. Especially high scoring point guards. Levine was roasting them. We saw Kobe White be a point per minute last game. Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet had massive games against the Magic. I mean, this is a team without some of their better guard defenders. No MCW, no Markelle Fultz. Evan Fournier's down. Not that Fournier was somebody I regard as a high defensive guy. Like I think Damian Lillard's in a spot where he could drop 60 real points tonight, and I mean that. Like this is the spot. So I like him quite a bit. I think Frank Mason's also somebody I'm digging here without Fournier and the lack of those guards. He's really cheap on both sides, 36 on FanDuel, 3,300 on DraftKings. I alluded to it earlier. He's currently projecting as my top points per dollar play on DraftKings at just about 6x value. So I probably use him as a glue to go get some of the high-end lineups, like or higher-end guys that I like. He ended up seeing 26 minutes in that second Bulls game and got 21 fantasy points. I do think we might be able to pin some of that on a blowout, but that is the game where Fournier went down. So let's go check the popcorn machine on that and kind of paint the picture for Frank Mason. So Mason got decent run in the first half, but no, I guess that was the game Fournier was just straight up out. So Mason got run in the first half, but he also played the entire fourth quarter with guys like Okeke and Gary Clark and just the bum squad. They still don't have a deep bench here. But we'll say that he got 12 minutes on the court without Vucevic. So I would keep that in mind, right? Put context to what he did, but at the same time, like I just think the minutes will be there for him. And then Terrence Ross on both sites has a chip in a chair, and at 4,500 on FanDuel, I'm right back in the mix on him, looking for 25 plus. And the Blazers are definitely a team where I can pick on them everywhere, but they do give up a lot of points via the three ball. If we go to that team metrics tab in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, Portland Trailblazers are allowing a top 6 amount of points via the three ball. And we know T. Ross wouldn't be a stranger to chucking and heaving it from behind the arc. So far, if you look at his last couple games, 5-3, 5-3. So yeah, if you get 5 shot attempts from behind the arc, if he hits at a 40 to 70% clip in a ceiling game, I'd be a buyer in that. So if I'm writing it down, man, Dame versus Vooch could just be a centerpiece of a nice batch of lineups, right? If I get that 100 plus, Damian Lillard has got to get you that 50 at 9-8, 10K because
outscore Harden.
Outscore Harden and Steph Curry, right? It's got to be one of those guys that flourishes. And I don't like that's not an easy decision. That might be like that's a luck, right? Like you pick one of the three and anything could happen. So am I going to put all three of those guys as a tier 3 and just spray and pray and hope that the right combo hits?
I think so, because like at the point guard spot, I like John Wall points per dollar. I mean, you mentioned Murray; he's going to get ownership there. Cole Anthony, I love Cole Anthony. I might like him straight up over DeJounte Murray. I think he might outscore him today. Don't hate that. You mentioned, I guess even Tyler Hero probably won't get there because of the bench. Kemba Walker, possibly no Jaylen Brown. So paying up for guard seemed a little tough today. I think paying up for center is definitely the way to go and would be the popular route. So Lillard might get a little lost here. I think tier 3 is the way to go. Just have a little bit of him, Harden, Steph, all at the same amount, and whichever one hits. But yeah, so I think Orlando. I mean, you mentioned value guys. So not Kem Birch, Dwayne Bacon. I think he's a guy who's going to see minutes. Like you mentioned, going to chuck some threes. At 4-1, I think he's a decent value against Portland. This could be the highest scoring game of the slate. Portland plays no defense, so give me some Dwayne Bacon here.
What is chat? Who's got the scoring prop, the real point prop on Damian Lillard? Because the more I'm looking at it, man, dude, guards that score buckets just dominate the match. I mean, this is the matchup where Fred VanVleet dropped 50, right? Like, oh man, Damian Lillard might literally go for 60 tonight. Let me put NBA on the prop book. Player props, points. Let's go to. I'm sure they have it as a steep price. Dame is at 31.5.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'd probably take that, man. Holy, in this spot. All right. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's sitting on my head.
I mean, yeah, 30 real life points, definitely a spot here, or up to spot 10K. Yeah, you play him. I don't think I'm playing anybody else from Portland. Everyone just it seems priced right. I guess Rodney Hood is 4-3, kind of interesting. Played 35 minutes past 3 games, but again, he's kind of up and down. So in tournaments, maybe just if you're going to play the minutes. But other than that, I mean, I'm not getting to Enes Kanter today. It's too tough to get there.
Yeah, I can see him just getting pushed out of lineups just because of what the center position does look like. 7'2", 7'5". Median range of outcomes probably 30 to 40. That's what you need.
And like on DK, Frank Mason's point guard only. So you're going to play Lillard, Mason, means you can't play. And if you're going to play Vooch or Embiid, like you can't play DeJounte or some of these guards. I think Mason's is tough being point guard only.
I don't, because I think Mason is still going to get you the Vucevic, the Embiid, and at least 2 of the guards. So like, you can't play all 3 of those big guards anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless you have some punt centers, and we talked about Noah Vonleh, but he's not even on DraftKings. So Chat, what are we doing here? Play Mason or Bacon, whoever starts. I think I kind of want the guy who doesn't start, but I think they're both, chipping a chair at that price. Lance, what's up, Lance? For late night, Simmons and Covington or Tatum and Cole Anthony? Simmons. Oh, Anthony Simons and Rocco or Tatum? Probably Tatum and Cole Anthony. Easily the higher usage there. Unless you mean Ben Simmons. Yeah, you might mean Ben Simmons. That makes it's a little tougher. But I probably... Ooh. Rocco. That's a good one. Probably, man, Ben Simmons and Robert Covington or Jason Tatum, Cole Anthony. Basically, Ben Simmons versus Jason Tatum. Who would you rather have? I think that would be contingent on Jaylen Brown's status. If Jaylen Brown was out, I'd probably want more Tatum than Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I mean, definitely paying a premium, but if no Brown makes sense.
Yeah. If Brown's in, then I want Simmons. If Brown's out, then I want Tatum. That's why we don't listen to Raj. He's just here for gun rebuttal. Okay, Skip Bayless, Matt Keller. It is what it. You need friction, bro.
What you disagree me with?
I don't even know what he's talking about, but like
Cole Anthony outscores DeJounte Murray.
I like a little back and forth, man. Like I said, there's plenty of shows out there where two guys are just agreeing on everything. Whatever, a little color, a little flavor. Sixers at the Kings. Next game on the docket. Project starting five for the Sixers. Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid taking on De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Rashawn Holmes. A 230.5 total. Sixers on the road. They've been less elite on the road. And this is the same total as the Spurs game, right? 230.5. We know why. The Sacramento Kings worst defense in basketball. So we have to go shopping here. Joel Embiid is sticking out to me as one of the highest raw point plays on the slate. If I go check out my personal projections from 230. I have Embiid as a top 5 raw point scorer. I actually had Vooch as a higher raw point scorer than Embiid, so that makes me really think I'm going to tier 1 Vucevic here. But he's definitely one of my guys to target today. So I'm going after Embiid. I love anyone against the Kings, but I love bigs against the Kings. The Kings are allowing, I think, the most points in the paint in the league. If not the most, they're doggone close. Yeah, the most points in the paint in the league. So, I mean, Embiid should be able to walk in there. And then, of course, we know the peripherals will fall. The steals, the blocks, all that stuff will land where they land. So, Embiid, I think, is one of my favorite floor plays, one of my favorite late-night hammers. And it just... he's got a great matchup. So does the rest of the Sixers team. And the Sacramento Kings have rewarded big stacks before. If I go pull up the last couple of games here for Sacramento, small forward has been getting there on Sacramento. I will say there is a higher strength of schedule for their recent small forward pool. Kawhi, MPJ, Tatum, Ingram. So I wouldn't put Danny Green in that regard. But maybe Tobias Harris floats to the top. I do have Danny Green projected at 20-plus fantasy points. Seth Curry revenge game, right? Spent some time in Sacramento. Everyone on the Sixers is worth a look, and they'll probably all be in my player pool. Even Danny Green at 37-38. If I chip in a chair him for 20-plus fantasy points, I'm there. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the Sixers because they're all in play. The Kings are a little bit trickier. I think De'Aaron Fox at 8'6", 8'8", he really falls through the cracks at that price range because some of the forefront names at the guard spot, especially the 9-10K guys, they're probably going to take precedence. They're probably going to take priority versus the field. I think Harrison Barnes is probably...
That's the one, baby. Philly's the 5th worst team in the league against small forwards. He was coming off of 3 straight 45, 41, 47, then ran into Kawhi and Paul George, or just Kawhi, but still small forward, not going to get as much. But again, Philly bottom 5 against small forwards. If this game stays close, which I think it will, Harrison Barnes is going to be a catalyst to that.
I really hate that I agree with you on Harrison Barnes, but I agree.
I saw that DVP. I was like, ooh, this is the one.
Why? I'm there with that. There's plenty of So, like, really, small forwards has been the only spot against Philly as a leak anyway. But yeah, 6'4" for DK. Can I get 30-plus fantasy points? Sure, stocking stuffer. Wouldn't be a priority, but yes, he's probably my favorite points per dollar Kings player. Bagley and Holmes, like, they chip in a chair, but I can't really get there the way that this slate's set up. Tyrese Halliburton, I think, has a case to come out.
He's been winning people tournaments, but yeah, it's a tough matchup.
Every night I look up, he's got 30 or 28. Yep. It seems like. And then I think Fox is the guy that has to do the most, and no one's gonna have him. And it's almost at the point where like 45 is like underwhelming because of what we need from the point guard position tonight. But 54, 35, 48, 63. So wide range of outcomes here. Again, the 35 against Denver. What are you going to do?
I don't like attacking Ben Simmons, but I hear you.
Right. Yeah, chat, what are you doing here? I think this I'm going to have so much Embiid that I don't need to go crazy with the King side, but yeah. But Ben Simmons, 8-4 on DraftKings. Is there a world where Ben Simmons is the most obvious play at the end of the night, right? Where we look up and like he's got a triple-double, a couple steals.
No, for sure. If Lillard or Harden like don't go off and just get you like a regular 50 and Ben Simmons matches him, he's play.
Vancho says, I love me some Raj too, but did he really say Cole Anthony is going to outscore Dejounte Murray?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You want to bet that?
No, obviously, no. I know it's not likely, but I just think in today's slate, that happens.
You put money in his face and he backs off real quick, chat.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, you put money in his...
I've been trying to bet you for the past 4 or 5 days on some other stuff, and you picked the DeJounte Murray versus Cole Anthony, where we know in all likelihood DeJounte Murray goes, but those 2 out of 10 times Cole Anthony outscored DeJounte Murray.
How many points do you want? How many DraftKings points do you want on Murray over Cole?
I gotta get back to you on chat. I'm trying to think of a number.
10?
Okay, that's insane. I still want to bet right now. See, I have a bad feeling now. God damn it. Yo, just say yes to a bet too, so I know.
Mm-hmm. This man just rode against Tom Brady for 4 weeks. His PayPal account's hurting, bro.
I was hurting, baby. Real hurting.
Oh man. Yeah. All right, we got one game left on the docket. Hey, chat, after the stream, it's the after the party, and after the party, it's the Discord lobby. We'll be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP voice chat. We got the props and betting chat. Rich is already in there looking at some stuff to bet on prop bets and some of the DFS sites we play for prop betting. And we'll be in the voice chat. If you guys want to hang out with us, grab a mic, shoot the breeze. It's very informal. I mean that. You know, if you guys got children in the background within earshot, maybe put some headphones on. But it's more so a laid back thing. Bunch of dudes hanging out. We do get some girls that pop in there, but if you guys want to add that to your process, we still get work done. We still talk plays, and we still get our lineups in by lock. You're invited to come join that. Go to RunDFS.com. It's behind the paywall. VIP passes, $25 gets you in there for a week. That's daily access to the voice chats. That's daily access to the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. I'll be listing my personal tiers, so you don't have to copy me. You can just compare your notes to mine, see what you want. And then my projections for FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, and then hopefully I'll have another site introduced officially either tomorrow or the day after. So we're just adding to it. We do have some NASCAR coverage this weekend too. That Discord, I personally spearhead NBA and NFL and baseball, and baseball's 3 weeks away for spring training. But we do have Smeezy out there with his spins on NASCAR. Cam has been spitting some tennis picks lately. Our buddy Kyle from Fantasy Domination will drop his hockey takes as you know on Slate City does play. So there's definitely a community value as well past just the VIP stuff. So if you guys are interested, go check that out. RunDFS.com. Check out our VIP pass. If you have any questions, twitter.com/Gundacker. DMs are open. Main event tonight, the Utah Jazz hosting the Boston Celtics. Project starting 5 for the Celtics. Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson taking on Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. That Daniel Tice could be Grant Williams as well, by the way. I saw a couple conflicting projected lineups. 220 is our total, 6-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. So, I mean, on the surface, Raj, this is a game that I really don't think I care about, but Mike Conley is out for the Utah Jazz.
Pieces in the game.
Yeah, Conley is out for the Jazz. So Donovan Mitchell, this could be the Devin Booker spot from yesterday where I wasn't that interested in Booker because I thought the game would be slow. I thought the defense would be up. I mean, I had Booker, don't get me wrong, but you did not expect that game to have 200 points after 3 quarters.
No, I did expect Booker to have like 45, 50.
Right, and I thought that was a range of outcome for him. But the game, the scoring in that game was way higher than I pegged it to be. Maybe the Frank Kaminsky, no Chris Paul defense is taking a step back.
I'm sorry, no Chris Paul. I think, again, he likes to tell people rotations, to kind of be a leader on defense. So I think it definitely hurt their defense for sure.
All right. So with Mike Conley down, Donovan Mitchell projected starting point guard. He's an AK 8100. I mean, this is generally speaking, this game is 2 bottom pace teams, top defense teams. It's in the altitude. It's just not a game that you're expecting some fantasy greatness. But you don't want no Mitchell without Conley, right? You want
Mitchell
a piece
50
of that.
bomb is definitely there. I think he has a floor of like 40 here too.
Okay. And then on the Celtics side, Jaylen Brown's still questionable. If Jaylen Brown were to be out, we've seen Tatum benefit from that. But he's 10K essentially on FanDuel, 92 on DraftKings. You're paying for what you would probably presume to be, I mean, it's 50 a ceiling against the Jazz. So even if he got to that 50, you're just feeling like, okay, well, that's kind of what I paid
think
for.
Kemba's kind of the lock.
All right, I could see that. If Joe Ingles draws the start here at the guard spot, Jordan Clarkson on FanDuel 5K, I could get to some of that. I got him at 29 minutes. We've known him to be a point per minute, so if I can get 30 fantasy points from a 5K price point on FanDuel, I'd probably be an investor of that. So there's so many different ways this game could go. Do you see any tier 2s or above here? Like, are you that high on Mitchell at 8K?
Kemba and Mitchell, I'd probably put tier. I mean, Mitchell tier 3 or 2 just because of his price. I think Kemba tier 2, 6'6" on DraftKings, 33, 32, 30 minutes past 3 games, 18, 19, 20 shots. Hasn't been shooting that well, so breakout game's coming. No Mike Conley, so I think the defense takes a step back. I like Kemba Walker here at this price.
Kemba is $100 more than
DeJounte Murray.
You want to bet that one?
No, I'm not betting against DeJounte Murray.
Oh, then wait, no, you can't sit here and be anti.
No betting against DeJounte Murray.
He's more expensive than DeJounte. Clearly, he's a better. Okay.
I'm saying the shot. Look, I mean, I love his shot volume. I think the peripheral will get there, just as he plays more and more minutes, gets re-assimilated in a sense. I mean, I like the price, 6'6". I think he has 40-point upside here, if not a little more.
The Kemba. So I need Jalen out to believe in 40 plus.
Yeah. If Jalen's in, I would just fade the Boston side here. Jalen's out. I really like Kemba. I think at that price, he could be a tier 2 type of guy.
So I do. I mean, let me put some numbers on this. I don't have Jake here to just ask him real quick, but I do feel like Conley facilitates better than Donovan Mitchell. So unless Joe Ingles will play more pure point, but I feel like Donovan Mitchell will just be the ball handler here. So I'm going to take Mitchell on, Mike Conley off. Usage rate here is 32% for Donovan Mitchell, 374 minutes of sample size this season, just under a fantasy point per minute. Assist rate's at 29%, so I'm way wrong on that one. So yeah, no reason not to like individually Donovan Mitchell.
Point Mitchell.
Do we get... What do we have to have in the grand scheme of today's slate from Donovan Mitchell? Because at 8K, you need 50. You need 50?
I think you need 50.
I think 45. 45, we got a chance. You could logistically make a lineup with just these 8K guys, right? Fox, Mitchell, Jimmy Butler.
I think
these
Embiid,
are all...
I love. Yeah, Embiid at 10.5. Like it's not a cheap price tag. I just want to say, trying to fit some guys in. Like, if you don't play Embiid, you can just play an 8, 9K stud.
If he drops 70.
Yeah, 70. Again, but
we have no like truly great 3K value.
Yeah.
Like value today is not pretty at all. You have some 4K guys. We mentioned Mason. Like Mason, the only guy under in the 3Ks that we're playing.
Frank Mason. I think Danny Green might be somebody I play more than I want to.
Yeah, looking, and he's like small forward spot. You can play Danny Green in. You can play the centers and point guards then. Damn, really gonna have a night with Danny Green.
It's Danny Green night.
Value.
Yeah.
What did it do?
It's not fun, but it's Sacramento.
Definitely not fun.
On FanDuel earlier today, somebody mentioned Noah Vonleh, and I'm like, I could see myself taking some deep tournament darts on that and hoping for the best. I don't think he's not on DK.
Noah Vonleh. He's not even okay. I mean,
it's FanDuel.
I'm just gonna pass on that one. I'm gonna pass on that one.
Let's see what you guys got here in the live
He's
chat.
not on one of the sites, chat. Don't play him.
No.
And that's a good rule to follow.
Yeah. K. John says, if you lose, you have to put gun ad-lib in your next video. Producers have their signature on their drop. If Young Metro don't, it's just me.
Skirt, one of those.
By the way, I was curious to see what Gobert does without Conley. Gobert is at a 17% usage rate, fantasy point per minute, rebound rate's high. Okay. Pete says, I love the Vucci gang and the Embiid handcuff, but quietly Derek Favors is getting 20 since he came back from injury. Derek Favors 3.9 DK. I don't think I can give up a center spot unless he's.
So Vucci and Embiid, I guess that's like the chalk combo. Or it's just like a run DFS thing.
I think it's a me thing.
Okay.
I can see Embiid falling out, but I don't know. Vucci and Embiid, I love my bigs. Put those two together. And like I said, I think those three guards, Curry, Lillard, who's the other one? Curry, Lillard, and Harden. Yeah, I think they could all that's the hardest to pick one. I don't know who scores the most. I can see them all scoring 70. Like it's broken.
Kyrie at 9K too. It's annoying. He could easily have a 40 real life point game too.
Yeah. Lance says, what do y'all think of Carmelo Anthony against the Magic tonight? I think he's fine. I think 25 to 30 fantasy points would be the window that I want. I think he can get it, but I kind of this feels like a spot where if Dame can score, he's gonna score. There should be very little resistance. So I'm leaning heavy on Dame, but yeah, Melo will probably be third in the team in shots, maybe behind Cantor. I guess Gary Trent, if he plays, would be second. What else we got here? Love the Favors and Embiid pairing. Man, we got some Favors infatuation building in the chat.
That's serious.
I don't know if I can give up that center spot. He's a point per minute dog for sure. But man, that's a lot of raw points. But I guess that would be your way to get the 3 guard lineup. Sure. Go for it. Walker. Oh yeah, Lonnie Walker. So Lonnie Walker, Danny Green, Frank Mason, right? Those are probably the 3 that are going to project the best. Walker, you could play at a small forward spot, shooting guard spot. Danny Green, you could also do that. And then Frank and Mason at a guard spot. So that's going to give me 78 per. If I really want my Embiid and Vooch combo, I can jam that in with the center util spot.
Oh, yeah, we just built the lineup.
I'd probably get Deontay for that price.
So, wait, you got Frank Mason, Lonnie Walker, Danny Green in there.
Mm-hmm.
Get Jeremy Grant, and guess who fits? Harrison Barnes with Embiid, Vooch. Oh, this is on DK. Yeah. That's the lineup right there.
There's a couple ways to make it happen, yeah. Vonleh for FanDuel for defense. The Nets are reaching. Man, that Noah Vonleh, Iman Shumpert defense is coming, boys. I'm on my boy Bruce Brown revenge game. Ooh, I like that. I'm a Sixers fan. Gun, can you pull up Holmes against the Sixers numbers? Because I think he smashes every time. Sure. I think it's more fair to look up Holmes against Embiid, though. Rashawn Holmes.
There's a decent value, too.
Versus...
If you're not going to play Vooch and Embiid together. Tristan Thompson is 4-4. He's like point per minute guy. He seems like a safe spot. Maybe a few more minutes against Rudy Gobert. I can see Tristan Thompson getting like 30 DKP.
Yeah, Sterling Brown 3,200. Would you run that back even though Gordon's in? Maybe you give him a shot. Frank Mason, questionable with illness. Yeah, you would need him to play. But yeah, that's our slate. That's what it's looking like. What's tomorrow looking like? By the way, NBA. I just typed Top Shot. Oh my God, I have a problem. NBA schedule for tomorrow. Rashawn Holmes' history against Embiid, not what you want, by the way. Tomorrow's schedule, big Wednesday slate to 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 game slate. We got the Thunder and Lakers going to run it back. Raptors at the Wizards. Hawks at the Mavs. Trey versus Luka. That's always fun. Clippers at the T-Wolves. Hornets at the Grizzlies. Pacers, Nets. Ooh. Pelicans, Bulls. Okay. Cavs at the Nuggets. Thunder at the Lakers. And Bucks at the Suns. So, oof. We'll be live at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And then, yeah, that's the schedule. See what you guys got here before we get out of here. Dwayne Bacon could be the play as well. Yeah, I think all those guys are spin the wheel, make a deal. Rashawn Holmes this week against your boy. He is. Anyway, chat, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord voice chat about 15 minutes. I'm going to get out of here. And if you guys got anything else for me, twitter.com/Gundacker. If you are heading out, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. Double check. Make sure you're subscribed. If you want to hang out with me later, it might be on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Gundacker. Nueve. That's 99 for you uncultured Rajas out there. And outside of that, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.